Oh my God, they're about to shoot her. Oh my God. They want that chain so bad. What's going on? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's happening.
One chain snatched off a rapper's neck on a Philadelphia sidewalk kicked off a war that left more than 10 people dead. And the one man who went online bragging about it was about to pay the heaviest price.
Niggas, I got a wounds behind this shit, 7 to be exact. Nigga, they was not getting this. I'm still standing, kid. That FT chain is getting passed around the game. Nigga, what are you talking about?
Now, before we get into how that night went down, we need to go back to where all of this started. Because this is not just a story about one murder. It is the end of a much longer story about a group of young guys from one of the poorest neighborhoods in Philadelphia who wanted to get money through music and ended up getting caught inside something they could not get out of. Davier Autry, known on the streets and on social media as Da Vinci, or Vinci, went by the Instagram handle @DaVinci3900. He was affiliated with YBC, which stands for Young Bag Chasers, a crew that came up around 2017 in West Philadelphia's Mantua neighborhood, also known around the city as The Bottom. This was not a rich area by any standard. The median household income there was under $34,000, and most of these young guys grew up with obstinate or incarcerated fathers, parents dealing with drug problems, and early exposure to the streets from as young as 9 or 10 years old. A lot of them went to Belmont Charter School together and were tight the way kids get when they basically raise each other, sharing clothes, food, and looking out for whoever needed it that day. In those early years, the crew called themselves the Bottom Boys, and the whole point was music. They learned how to make beats in school music classes, practiced on many keyboards, and wrote songs in basements and bedrooms. The name Young Bag Chasers literally meant chasing a bag, chasing money, through rap and not through violence. One member, Tajay Brooks, who went by J100, was the standout talent early on, making music from as young as 12 years old and seen by the whole crew as their best shot at a real career. The plan was simple: get famous, get paid, get out of poverty. That plan fell apart in May 2019 when a crew member named Joshua Munson, known as Baby YBC, was shot multiple times in the head and back at 42nd and Wylesing Avenue. Nobody was ever charged for it, and the case remains unsolved to this day. That killing changed everything about how this group moved. They became paranoid and started going everywhere armed and in groups. Their music stopped being about getting money and started being about getting back at enemies. They found the perfect style for all of it in drill rap, a genre that came out of Chicago and was made famous by artists like Chief Keef and Lil Durk, where you document your street life, call out your enemies by name, and turn the violence you live through into content that gets streamed around the world. YBC was good at it, and in 2020 they connected with another Philadelphia crew called Young Face Arrangers, or YFA, through a member named Samaj Nolan, who went by Reek1200. That link made YBC the younger affiliate crew and brought them into a whole set of existing beef they had nothing to do with originally. The pandemic hit around the same time, and with everybody stuck at home, things actually got worse on the money side before they got better. Members started running unemployment scams, selling weed at higher prices than before, and picking up guns. The violence went up, the music went up, the clout went up. By December 2020, a member named Abdul Vix, who went by YBC Dull, stepped up as the crew's de facto leader and manager after Tajay Brooks was killed outside a video shoot in December 2022. Vix formed a company called YBC LLC, turned the crew into a weed business selling premium packs sometimes named after rivals they had killed, and became the most visible and most dangerous version of what YBC had become. He called himself Mr. Disrespectful and meant every word of it. His videos mocked people who had been killed, taunted their families, and turned murder into content that racked up millions of streams and views. At their peak, some of those tracks were bringing in over $10,000 a month from streaming alone. The most notorious example was after YBC claimed responsibility for the December 2023 killing of a 22-year-old man named Zaire Stafford, a father of 2 who was shot more than 15 times right after finishing his shift at McDonald's. Within days, Vix released a music video with over 5 million views that showed someone pulling a body from a car trunk and pouring McDonald's fries into the flames. They were planning a Happy Meal-themed weed package to go with it. Vix said in a YouTube interview at the time, "We gotta have more blood. I gotta make more music, bro. We need more blood." In August 2024, Abdul Vix was killed at a red light in Olney, North Philadelphia. Two shooters in a car pulled up alongside him and opened fire with multiple weapons, including a rifle set to automatic. He was struck multiple times in the chest and right hand and pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after. The people who killed him were teenagers from a small-only crew called Fast Break, who were chasing a name for themselves. After the shooting, they drove away, torched the getaway car, and within minutes were on camera at a friend's house celebrating.
You're from Philly.
Yes, sir.
And one of your, local Philly rappers, YBC Duel, got killed 24 hours after saying he was untouchable.
It's crazy. I just like sent him a message on Instagram. He was talking on Instagram, told him be careful. I saw him on No Jumper.
Yeah.
And he was saying something about, me eating that stuff, whatever, and I was talking to him. Because he was actually on the video, right before he got killed, he was on the video on my mom's block.
Really?
Yeah, he from around my mom's block, right that way, yeah.
You knew him personally?
No, he younger than me, so I knew who he was, but he like my kid's age.
Right, he called himself Mr. Disrespectful. There's a video of him digging up a grave, which he later said
it wasn't really somebody, yeah. But I hate that he felt like he had to do that to become popping. Because it's a tragedy. Because my thing is, I just wish you could just did his music and just, because when you doing that, debating people like that in Philly dangerous.
Well, a 16-year-old killed him.
That's the
and from what they say, it has nothing to do with his ops or anyone he was dissing or anything else like that. It was just some kid had the opportunity to kill
and get a name
for themselves.
A preliminary hearing in December 2024 revealed that the rifle used in Dull's killing was recovered from one of the defendant's homes, and a celebratory video filmed minutes after the shooting was played in open court. One teenager on the video said, "I could throw a party," and confirmed they had gotten the right person. Aiden Waters, 16 at the time, was charged as an adult along with 5 others, including his own mother, who allegedly handed him the rifle used in the attack. As of today, the case had not yet gone to trial, but all defendants were in custody. Davier was not the loudest voice in any of this, but he was a real part of YBC and had been for years. People in the community called him the six man, the star player, or the head coach of the YBC Dragons, a reference to a local pro-am basketball league where he both played and coached. People who knew him remembered someone who gave food to homeless people on the streets more than once and genuinely cared about the people around him. He was a real person living inside a very dangerous world, and in the summer of 2025, he made a decision that started a chain reaction he was never going to be able to walk back. Figon is a Philadelphia rapper who at some point was very chill with Da Vinci. However, that changed in a very public way when the two of them and their respective people crossed paths downtown and the situation got out of hand. What exactly started it depends on who you believe, and both sides went on record with their version. Figon addressed it directly in an interview.
I would say I was the aggressor in the situation. Yes, from video, it might look like some other shit, like somebody rolled down on me and jumped me and took my chain. No, and then you see after the nigga took the chain, nigga ran. So it was like, it wasn't even no gangster shit. You took my chain and started punching on me. It wasn't one of them drugs. Like, it was like, that's how people view it. And then like, people like that don't know and be like, yo, you got your chain took. Anybody can get their chain took. It's like, I'm fighting 4 or 5 people. Like, what do you want me to wear? And I had like 45,000 in my bag. I wasn't even worrying about the chain. I never even felt this shit come off at all.
However, Da Vinci's version was completely different. He posted his own explanation video on Instagram, and it got shared widely on Reddit's Philly Wiki forum, where Philly street news gets discussed constantly. In that video, Da Vinci said Fadi and his people had actually spotted him downtown and moved on him first, trying to rob Da Vinci's own chain in a sneak attack. He said they had been cool before this, that they had dopped each other up, then Fadi set him up. According to Da Vinci, YBC backup showed up, the whole thing turned into a big brawl, and by the end of it, Fadi's chain was gone, but Da Vinci had paid for it with 7 stab wounds during that same fight. Here's what he said on camera.
Low ass video, kid. And more your chain is, that's your reputation, you dumb ass. More ask your homies when they was trying to get this chain. They was not getting it. Niggas, I got wounds behind this shit, 7 to be exact. Nigga, they was not getting this. I'm still standing, kid. That FT chain is getting passed around the game. Nigga, what are you talking about?
Raw video of the incident was also captured on somebody's phone and shared widely on Instagram and Reddit, showing Baby Yop and Vinci, which is another nickname for Da Vinci, as the main people in the group that beat Figon and took the chain on a public sidewalk.
Oh my God, they about to shoot her! Oh my God! They want that chain so bad! What's going on? Oh my God!
You can hear people in the background reacting while it is happening. Now here's the thing. A fight is a fight. In the streets, you win some and you lose some, and in a lot of cases, even something as embarrassing as getting your chain snatched can be left alone if neither side puts fuel on it. But Da Vinci did the one thing that made it impossible to leave alone. He posted it repeatedly. He put the chain on his Instagram stories, made videos about it, and kept throwing it in Fadi's face online with lines like, "That FT chain is getting passed around the game." Another YBC affiliate known as YBC Drag, also called Drag4X, jumped in too, posting the chain alongside guns and cash and publicly mocking it as not even worth $10,000. Street recops across TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit all pointed to the same thing. The non-stop online bragging, way more than the actual fight, is what turned this into a real war. One recop put it plainly. This all started because he took Fadi's championship chain and kept bragging about it on socials. The retaliation did not take long. In May 2025, YBC Drag survived a massive hit when someone shot his GMC Yukon over 30 times in a parking lot on City Avenue, putting more than 15 bullets through the windshield and over 20 through the driver's door. He only caught a graze wound to the stomach and walked away.
Rick, we were actually here in the station parking lot when we heard dozens of shots fired earlier this evening. Just minutes after, we headed out of the parking lot to our original story, not knowing that those shots were fired just down the road from here in a busy area right around rush hour. Almost 40 shell casings coated the parking lot of the Courtyard Marriott at City Avenue and Presidential Boulevard. Just down the road near the on-ramp to 76 West, this black SUV was riddled with bullet holes.
Very, very lucky with that many shots fired that there was only one shooting victim.
Philadelphia police say this is the aftermath of a shooting that happened just before 6 o'clock tonight on the 4100 block of Presidential Boulevard in Winfield Heights.
That's where police and detectives found the crime scene, which consisted of over 40 spent shell casings.
When police got there, they saw a GMC Yukon that had been hit by gunfire fleeing the hotel parking lot. That SUV drove right past us, with police right behind it, heading north on City Ave until it got to the on-ramp to 76 West.
That's when it rear-ended a Mercedes that was traveling in the same direction.
Police say 2 people in that Mercedes were taken to the hospital in stable condition. Police say a 26-year-old man who was inside this black SUV was found with a graze wound to his abdomen.
He is extremely lucky because the vehicle he was in, this large SUV GMC Yukon, is hit over 30 times by gunfire.
About 15 bullets went through the windshield, more than 20 through the driver's side door. The 26-year-old, who police believe was the intended target, was taken to Lankenau Hospital in stable condition. Now they're looking for whoever is responsible. Are we talking about one shooter? Are we talking about multiple shooters in this case?
I don't know at this time, but I'm sure the victim himself may be able to tell police if there was 1, 2, or more that were firing shots in his vehicle.
Now, that 26-year-old who suffered from the graze wound, he was released from Lankenau Hospital just around 8 o'clock tonight and then immediately taken to Philadelphia Police Headquarters for questioning. Police hope he can shed some light on the circumstances surrounding this shooting. We are live tonight in Winfield Heights. I'm Caroline Goggin, Channel 6.
Most people who survived something like that would lie low for a while. Instead, Drag posted the stolen chain on Instagram alongside guns and cash, arranged to spell out the words, "Hurry y'all ass up." He was talking directly to whoever had a bounty on him, daring them to try again. And they did. On August 26, 2025, Drag was shot between 30 and 38 times in Germantown and found lying in the street. When police got there, they found his body, 4 cell phones, a handgun, and $40,000 in cash right next to him. The killers left every dollar because that was not a robbery. It was an open statement. The war was now running on both sides. On October 6, 2025, a man known as Lord Zach or Little Zach, a close friend of Figon, was shot 38 times on the 2900 block of West Gordon Street in Strawberry Mansion. 45 shell casings were found at the scene. Figon posted "Long Live Zach" on social media shortly after, which people in the community read as either claiming it as a get back or mourning someone in his circle who got caught in the crossfire. Either way, by the end of 2025, community sources across multiple platforms were tracking more than 10 bodies connected to this feud in one form or another. None of this happened in a vacuum, and to understand why Da Vinci was so exposed by late 2025 and into early 2026, you need to know what was happening inside YBC at the same time. On February 25, 2026, the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office announced charges against 19 people connected to YBC and 2 rival crews, CCK and PSK, following nearly 3 years of grand jury investigation. The charges covered 5 separate murders and 35 total shooting victims, including children as young as 5 years old, with all the incidents happening between September 2022 and May 2024. 9 of the 19 defendants were directly connected to YBC. Among those charged was Stephen Weddington, known as Baby Yop, the same person who had been right there with Da Vinci during the Figon chain snatch less than a year earlier. He was named in connection with multiple shootings. Prosecutors explained in detail how they built the case, noting that drill rap music videos, Instagram posts, and social media activity were used as actual evidence to identify masked shooters, prove intent, and connect separate incidents that otherwise looked unrelated. The content they made to build their brand became the rope that the investigators pulled them in with. Da Vinci was not named in the indictment and was not charged with anything. But with Duel dead, Baby Yop locked up, Drag killed, and most of the crew either behind bars or gone, Da Vinci was one of the very few remaining active YBC members still on the streets when the indictment dropped. And he was still the same person who had been on Instagram bragging about a chain he should have stayed quiet about months earlier. In January 2026, just weeks before everything came to a head, Figon sat down for a podcast interview and was asked about the chain. He barely said a word about it.
So they said the last time you came, you got your chain took.
Okay, look.
They said you got your chain took and they was playing with you. So prop your shit.
See, on that situation, I can't like speak too deeply.
Not too crazy, but
yeah,
you know.
but no.
What was this last season? Like Run the Eagles, right?
Yeah. That was Run the Eagles.
That was a minute ago.
But like, for that situation, all I just be saying is like, this the easiest way to break it down to anybody that's saying nobody ran down on me. That's number one.
Okay.
Then number 2 is, if you fighting 5 niggas, what the fuck are you gonna worry about a chain? I'm gonna be like this holding the chain the whole time.
Right.
Like that's really more so the story, feel me? Than like the aftermath is just like, I don't really talk about it because they got.
So it was 1 versus 5.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Damn.
Niggas be fanned out.
Yeah, I just let that shit be what it is. They be making all these YouTube shit on me. I mean,
I hate that
that's
YouTube
what I'm saying.
shit.
Like, I feel like they really just take it and take their own narrative and make their own story.
yeah, all that shit y'all see on YouTube, I'm a good person. That is not true.
He is not a
I'm a
goon.
good person.
Literally.
I am
That
not
shit's
a
not
goon.
true.
I'm a
But
good
yeah, that's what
person.
happened.
Oh, bitch, please.
I don't really dwell
I
on.
hate the eye flip.
I don't really dwell on none of that shit. That shit, like I wouldn't say I'm a street person. I ain't in the streets, but like I understand the streets, so it's like that shit never made me mad. That's why you never see me on Instagram screaming and that. Yeah, I'm a kid. No, I don't do
On
that.
live and shit.
It is what it
Veins
is.
popping
like,
out.
Yeah.
Feel me? Like actions speak louder than words. I always say that.
Actions speak louder than words. He said it with a straight face, totally calm. In street language, that's not a motivational poster. That's somebody telling you they already handled it or they're about to. On Saturday, March 14th, 2026, at around 6:15 in the evening, Davier Autry was at his mother's house near North 8th Street and West Burke Street in North Philadelphia, close to Temple University's campus. He had come to visit his family. Nothing about that evening was supposed to be out of the ordinary. But 2 people had been waiting for him outside his house. As soon as he stepped out of his mother's front door, they opened fire with multiple weapons. Davier tried to run and had made it down the block before the shooters caught up with him and shot at close range. He was hit multiple times, including shots to the head and body. Police officers arrived quickly, found him on the street, and rushed him to Temple University Hospital, which was only a few blocks away. He was pronounced dead at 6:29 that evening, just 14 minutes after the first emergency calls came in. The 2 suspects left in a black Honda Accord that had been reported stolen from Cheltenham Township, a small suburb just north of Philadelphia. Using a stolen car from outside the city is something investigators in Philadelphia see often in planned gang killings because it makes it harder to connect the car back to whoever's driving it. They drove roughly 2 miles north to the area of 17th and Wishard Streets in Hunting Park, set the car on fire, and ran away on foot. Philadelphia Police Inspector D.F. Pace described the scene afterwards. It looks like 2 males were lying in wait and ambushed him after he arrived here on location. More than 15 shell casings were found at the scene, coming from at least 2 different weapons. One was a rifle and the other was believed to be a 9mm handgun. The Philadelphia Fire Department came and put out the fire, and when investigators moved in to search what was left of the car, they found a rifle and a gun magazine inside the burned vehicle. Ballistics testing confirmed the rifle was one of the weapons used at the shooting scene. The 9mm handgun was never found. Inspector Pace said at the briefing, "We are still looking for the second weapon, a handgun." This dump and burn method, where shooters torch the getaway car to destroy fingerprints and DNA, was the same thing used when YBC Duels killers burned their vehicle on North 15th Street after shooting him at a red light the year before. It forces investigators to process 2 completely separate crime scenes while the people they're looking for are already gone. Surveillance cameras at both scenes in Davier's case captured footage of the ambush and the suspects, but as of mid-March 2026, the police hadn't released any of that footage publicly, hadn't named any suspects, and hadn't officially confirmed a motive. What the streets had already decided, though, is a different conversation entirely. Word is that Davier's killing is connected to the Figon chain snatch and the months of online bragging that followed, calling it exactly what it looked like: deadly revenge. Reddit threads dedicated to Davier's death filled up with comments making the same connection, with people writing things like, "Rip Da Vinci, this vid is the start of this feud between YBC and Figon's camp." YBC affiliates responded on social media with grief posts and old clips of Davier giving food to homeless people in his neighborhood, showing the side of him that had nothing to do with any of this. Some people vowed to get back. Others, people who lived in the same world and understood how it worked, left comments that were short and honest. This is the stuff that comes with the game. There was one more detail that people who were paying attention noticed right away. Figon posted "Long Live Zach" flame emoji on social media roughly 30 minutes after Davier was pronounced dead. When you look at this entire story from the beginning, what stands out is how early the point of no return actually came. The actual fight, as ugly as it was, could have faded. Chains get taken in the streets, that's not new. What made this different, what made all of it impossible to stop, was the decision to go online and celebrate it over and over again. Every community source, street recap, and thread about this story agreed on one thing. It wasn't the snatch that started the war, it was the bragging. Do you think Figon called the hit on Davier? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.